Raobat. Welcome to Update class. My name is Nasat Khaf Rayay, student teacher of the master teacher. And today's update is called True Justice. Lay ankum e marar kararu im Wu-Nuwaup panan kawum najamat nun shalal ma'at, which means, for you, my beloved Nuwaupian children, these are our rules, statutes of ma'at. Number 2, the natural rules of nature, ma'at, for all living creatures on this planet Earth. 3, all living creatures must obey the natural rules of ma'at. 4, and there are those who were made by unnatural laws of sixth ether, unnatural nature. 5, and there are those who were made by unnatural laws of sixth ether, unnatural nature. 6, this is revealed by their very nature and action, as well as hidden intention by choice on the scale of decisions. 7, laws are those controlled by hopes of mercy and forgiveness by unseen ghost spirits called deities, by those who live by faith, belief, and hopes, out of fear of judgment. 8, yet they are not wise enough to see that if their unseen spirit deities was in fact the all-forgiving, all-merciful, then there must not, better yet, could not be a judgment day. 9, for all are destined to be forgiven out of his or its mercy. 10, these actual facts, blind faith, will not allow them to see or understand. 11, they have no all-forgiving, all-merciful deity, who by those very attributes could not be master or owner of Judgment Day. All will be forgiven out of mercy. 12, what fools these mortals be. 13, to just believe such foolishness. 14, it is the Kakasu, scapegoat, dogma. 15, lies of liars. 16, it is the religious laws of fate, not fate. 17, it is belief, not confirmation. 18, a form of religious obstruction in their favor at all times, for the Kakasu created their own laws and commandments. 19, false, unnatural justice. That, to them, really means just us. Celtics, their own race and tribes. Vikings, 6 etheric beings. Adamites. 20, a justice which to all other races is hard and also heavy against them, and for Adamites, race of lepers, Kakasu. 21, taken from true justice, yet it is tampered with by a claim of false mercy and forgiveness, and yet is in fact a transgression of the natural rules of nature, ma'at, which always and in time measures out true. 22, his law is the law of Azazel, scapegoat of his deity, Seter. It is not justice at all. 23, they show no mercy or forgiveness at all. 24, it is only compromise. The compromise encourages further iniquities and transgressions. 25, and all other races end up with a world as you see in the past 6,000 years from 4,000 BCE. 26, compromise of transgression means that the very violation of the natural rules of nature have not been accounted for in the right way. 27, because accounting for their transgression is paying the penalty for iniquities required by the natural rules of natural nature. 28, in Nuwaupians, the only way to ultimately satisfy the rules of natural nature is for the guilty, pale white-eyed Kakasu and all others who uphold their own laws and commandments to fade out. 29, and that, as you see, is what nature is at work doing to them right now. That is the extinction, extermination of the unnatural species, the mutant, hybrid, genetically made, then cursed with leprosy, Canaanites. 30, because they adjusted true justice. 31, and over the past 6,000 lives by just us only, the cursed race only. Let all others be judged by our own laws, not unnatural, man-made systems. 32. Their judicial system, unjust. 33. Their educational system, unjust. 34. Their medical health system, unjust. 35. Their political system, unjust. 36. Their penal system, unjust. 37. Their financial system, unjust. 38. Their media system, unjust. 39. Their theatrical system, unjust. 40. Their religious systems, unjust. 41. They took from others and created their way of life and seek to force all others to accept and obey their system. This is unnatural to natural nature, for all people are not the exact same in DNA, which says they are not the same by natural rules of natural nature. 42. The natural rules of nature is Ma'at, which rules all natural matter. Matter. Mat equals matrix, printed out as mat. Matriarch. Ma'at, tree arc. 43. All material life and living under the sky upon earth is to live by the matrice. 1. Justice. 2. Truth. 3. Equity. That is the natural rules of natural nature. Wu-Nuwaup. 44. In order for life to mature or mature, grow ripe. 45. We as Nuwaup live by the natural rules of natural nature. Ma'at. 46. Which make Nuwaup qualified to determine by sound right reasoning what is a divine rule. For you studied each and all others' religious opinions from 1970 AD to 2000 AD, the many schools taught to our race by foreigners and their belief. 47. You graduated all of their religious schools to become a Nuwaupian. 48. So you see the penalty by natural nature at work on unnatural nature from 2000 AD to 2030 AD. 49. As Mother Nature heals herself of this physical disease, race of hybrids. 50. And their self-created laws. 51. Impose their laws on all others for 6,000 years from 4000 BCE to 2000 AD. 52. You and only you with the right knowledge, the right wisdom, and understanding, the sound, yes, you know, have the proper sound. 1. Key of F major, left of middle C major, is the vibration tone of the planet Earth. 2. Key of A major, left of middle C major, is the frequency tone of the human body. 3. Key of C major, in the center of 88 keyboard, is the sound tone of nature. 53. Male tone, left, called bass clef. Female tone, right, called treble clef. 54. They repeat octaves after octave, both the left and right side of the middle C major. 55. So, you have the right sound right reasoning, the ability to determine right from wrong or good from evil as you transform into deities. 56. The 360 degrees of physical and 360 degrees of mental will give you the 720 degrees. 57. The rule and penalty by natural nature is in you. When you vibrate in your natural, created nature in which you were grown, tall height, your natural nature, female height, 4 feet 5 inches, male height, 5 feet 4 inches. 58. Your natural place on the planet, a birthplace, is the original source of the Nile River in South Africa. 59. And from there you follow the waters from where you came, northward or up to the Nile, settling along the way. You spread westward, which included what is called North and South America today. 60. Then you move eastward to what is called Arabia today. They were all one landmass. 61. Then you encountered a human beast, a flesh eater, who raped your women to breed new species, an Asiatic dark-skinned people with fur, not hair, as you had. 62. That humanoid beast was a Homo simian, ape man. He killed off other subspecies as they came in contact with this savage species. 63. 3 ape men were transported to this planet from Sirius, 9 to 12 feet tall, one with white fur, one with red fur, the other with brown fur. 64. They raped and mixed with the older Homo simian cavemen of Europe. 65. 3 species of grays were transported to this planet from Zeta, and Orion, 3 to 4 feet tall. 66. 1 species of Pleiadians came and went to and from this planet to Pleiades, and some who dwell in El-Dubaran in Orion, 9 feet tall, transparent skin, transparent fur, and transparent eyes, they bred with Homo simian to create a new species who came out reddish, pinkish, blush, rosy in skin color, called Adamites. But that was not that long ago, only 6,000 years ago. From them, or him, a seed was born. From his consort, Eve, also was born, her son, by an extraterrestrial that was named Cain, born with a twin sister. 67. This Cain, Canaan, was forced to move and live amongst the seed of his father, Nanah, in the land of Nod. 68. Before going, his father's father, Enlil, put a mark on him of albinism so that he would not become food for his relatives in the land of Nod, where, in time, he took a consort and born an albino race by his son, Enoch. 69. From the other son of Adam and his consort, Eve, was born a seed of Seth, who had no twin sister, but took a consort from his brother Cain, or Canaan, seed, and his sons and daughters, some albino, some not. 70. Of his son, who was Enos, not an albino, he had sons and daughters. 71. The sons of Cain, father's father, Enlil, called Igigi, used to watch over Enosites, who did not remember their own past. 72. These Igigis, also called Ihrim, decided to take females from Enos' seed, raped them, and gave birth to Gibarim. 73. These Gibarims were very evil and wicked, and craved flesh and blood of birds, other animals, and in time humans of their own bloodline who birthed them. 74. From this seed was born sons and daughters, some albinos, some not. 7 generations of tribes of mixed seeds. 1. Enosh, son and daughters. 2. Canaan, sons and daughters. 3. Mahalalel, sons and daughters. 4. Jared, sons and daughters. 5. Enoch, sons and daughters. 6. Methuselah, sons and daughters. 7. Lamech. 75. And the planet was spread in this way, but the seed of Adamites knew their history, down to Enos, who was made to forget and was given only one deity to call on, a Yahweh, or El, named El Shaddai, Nanar's son of Enlil, son of Anu, El Elyon, or El Ali, the Most High of them. 76. They lived by their own laws, Ha-Torah, the Torah, then created others, Talmud, Mishnah, Mithras, Zohar, and many others, books of Enoch, books of Jubilee, many hidden from the public, claimed to be lost. 77. Then new laws called the Gospel, and then they hid many of the scrolls from public called Gnostic Gospels, and even made up others. 78. Then finally they wrote final book called Al-Quran and claimed the original was lost, then mistranslated it into many languages to knowingly mislead those who had forgotten the true history of what the Quran called mankind. Mankind, Al-Insan, the people, and Nas, the women, and Nisa, all wrong, mistranslated from Nasir, forget. Same as the name Enos, to be forgetful, mortals, or those given amnesia by their maker, so they now only are allowed to call on one of them, Elohim, because one God of the two brothers, Enki and Enlil, or Yahweh and Baal, both had sons and daughters called Malak and Molech, or angels. 79. These were creators of the Adamic race of people 6,000 years ago in Mesopotamia. 80. They don't remember their creation, only what was given to them by a son of Enki, son Dumuzi, called Tammuz, taken from the original Sumerian tablets, which still exist. Yet they ignore their own history, his story. 81. Up to this day, faith in place of facts. And that concludes the reading. And I have another one. It's called Sabub Wu Farar, meaning cause and effect. I am Pa Nabab Yanin, the master teacher, no more, no less. I have been incarnated for you, Nuwaupians of Wu-Nuwaup, with what you need to heal and cure your body and mind. Number 2, my beloved children, before the suns, Shamash, you existed as its source, Rayay, suns, rays of energy. I greet you with divine love as I take you on this walk with myself towards your salvation, redemption by way of that which was yours originally, Wu-Nuwaup. 3. Yet, my children, you must remember these things about yourself, inside out and outside inward, to be clean, and I mean really clean. 4. Of the wicked, evil influences of the race of devils which has affected you both physically and mentally. 5. Nuwaupians of Wu-Nuwaup, let me speak with you and let us reason these things about you as all in and out of all. 6. Know this, 76% of your DNA is not used in the coding of proteins and enzymes. 7. That means 24% is active at all times, as you see once again that number 24 in your DNA of your 24,000 genome. 8. The unknowing of these days called the 76% junk DNA. 9. This is what is called mobile genetic elements or transposons and retrotransposons. 10. They call jumping DNA, which rewrites and activates or deactivates certain genetic codes inside of you. 11. These jumping DNAs make up half of the total DNA nucleotide. 12. Another part of the non-protein coding region of the 24,000 genome is made up of variable numbers randomly. 13. Repeating sequences. 14. These are called satellite DNA and interface with morphic field. 15. Each having specific resonance and can tune into different outformation into your information program. 16. Unique to each race and person, with each tuning into your own distinct and unique morphogenetic system like music patterns. 17. And these jumping DNA and satellite DNA interferes with the morphic field, responding to alteration in your state of consciousness. 18. Your own actual fact antennas, DNA, interferes with the vacuum or etheric existence. 19. And your zero-time reference. 1. Vacuum. 2. Time. 3. Material. Number 20. Transducing the zero-time reference point of energy which interacts with your consciousness. 21. In Nuwaupians, your genetic code is what's called the 76% of unused DNA. Followers a system like gamma in music. 22. With rules like song and speech, how you talk, what you say, the sound tone, pitch, your vocals as a race, unlike any other, unique. 23. It is also like music. Use rest to tone out that yet still exists these 76% of the 100% leaning 24% used at all times. in tune. 24. So, the 76% still exists, like the note in music exists, where the symbol of rest is used. 25. Just as in the tick and the tock of a clock, between them tick, rest, tock, rest exists, yet not counted as part of time. 26. These 76% and use the 24%, its intelligence and outintelligence at work. 27. So humanoids, human beings, speaking as in language, is a form of music. 28. You must be in tune with natural nature, and this is working with your DNA. 29. Your 24,000 genome of 76% to the 24%, you as Negroids are in tune with these working by your sense of rhythm, and rhythm, even your unique tone with your voice from all other races. 30. You being natural nature itself, the perfect being, the supreme beings. 31. So, if the physical you is altered, as in the case of the Enoshite daughters being raped by aliens called sons of God, or in the films Genesis 6, 1-5. 32. The outcome or offspring, as well as daughters who had the offspring because the 46 chromosomes of these alien fathers of the Gibberim, tyrants, they birthed. 33. So their original DNA is altered by the new DNA of the sons of gods who mixed with them. 34. The outcome was untuned, unnatural creatures. 35. And in the curse of Canaan in Genesis 9:25, the outcome was leprosy, and this affected their unnatural nature offspring of Canaanites. 36. And when you alter your physical body, you untune your natural nature, your natural being of how your creature made you, grew you. This alteration affects your DNA. Simple things such as bleaching your hair or skin changing color affect how the Rayay, the sun's rays, react on you. How natural nature reads you. 37. You think of all the other ways you tempted with your own natural nature that can affect your physical body, mental state of mind, spiritual state, spiritual self, emotional state, soul self, your health. 38. You are even affected by the kind of food you eat, being nature planted you in certain places on the planet, each race to their own environment, such as 1. Africa, 2. India, 3. Asia, 4. Europe. 39. The original site where each race is made or grown, the things there that they see, hear, taste, smell, and feel, all have an effect on their natural or unnatural nature. 40. Once you are removed from your natural environment, your whole being starts to change. The longer, the more changing. 41. The very air you breathe, sound you hear, how the sun affects your body. Once it hits your flesh, enters your eyes. 42. If you're trying to imitate another race of people, you untune yourself and you cut off your ancestors. 43. You're untuned from your own natural state of being in relation to your 9 etheric beings. 44. Because the system of your DNA is base pair, even numbers, and of music, language, you can alter your own genetics. You actually untune yourself. I don't mean make up. 45. Nuwaupians, remember this actual fact of music. C major, untuned, becomes C flat or C sharp. 46. Any alteration of the being can affect your DNA and genes by how you speak, words used, sound of voice, how you place your words and where. When you speak, make note how the Caucasoids speak, placing the sound in their nasal cavity, a buzz sound because of leprosy, blockage of nasal. Don't imitate that. It will affect your whole being. 47. Not speaking your own language is playing another music. Listen, not speaking your own language is playing another's music. Listen to Arabic chanting is also nasal or Hebrew. These are not our tones. 48. You must have your very own language, such as we, as Nuwaupians of Wu-Nuwaup, have Nuwaupic. No one can claim it's theirs. It's only our own. 49. No one has a reason to speak it, if not Nuwaupian, as us. So the Caucasoids, who invades all others' tongues, have no reason to speak Nuwaupic. It's unique. 50. Each sentence, words, may sound to some like Hebrew or Arabic. That is because they come from Nuwaupic, or a form of ancient Nuwaupic called Sabic. Yet our system is our own, not the exact same, yet in tune with our own ancestors. 51. Learn to speak Nuwaupic and realign your tune. 52. When you say I love you and truly mean it. 53. Emotionally, your DNA will always react to those words, and if said in your own unique language, will have a unique meaning and emotion. 54. Its language, modulations, being used, laser rays. 55. In Nuwaupians, even radio waves. 56. If the exact frequencies are being used. 57. You must return to your own. 58. Look how being under the Caucasoids or Araboids have affected your voice. How our race now speak and sound, lost the deep voice of black men, the sound of many waters, like no other race, raspy, strong, powerful, the Negroid male voice. 59. We are starting to speak and sound like Caucasoids. After these 400 years. 60. Slaves trying to please their slave master, be they European or Arab, both enslaved our race and seek for us to transform into them and their being. 61. You have our race accepting their religions and trying to act like them, speak their languages, dress like them, eat like them, and what they eat, pray to them and their dead ancestors or unknown spirit forces they worship by many names. 62. You are by those actions transformed, untuned, and all their unnatural natures will become your own, slowly killing you. 63. This includes their diseases, sickness, both physically and mentally. 64. That is what I, Pandabab Yanun, meant. It took the Caucasoid race 400 years, or from 1600 to 2000, to make a hybrid Negro, a new mulatto Negroid. 65. A minion of mental defected Africans to become an Afro-American or Euro-African in Europe, or Hispanic Euro, those who serve the white race without question. 66. They are being paid to give up their own DNA, cut off their ancestors in culture and language. 67. And you Negroids are also paid to give up your DNA, your positive blood types, by the negative blood type slave masters, those of the Cro-Magnon, ape man, human beast. 68. All you do is feed them, your bodies and souls. 69. So your DNA is in fact influenced by words, how they're used, what you say, and how. 70. And how the tone, the rhythm, and the frequencies. 71. No other race of people speak, move, or act as Negroids. That is an actual fact. We are unique, just as we're the only race with nappy hair. 72. Yet now, what you see as Negroes on TV and cinema is what the Caucasoid race make, shape, form as a Negro, their direction. They are paying our race to act the way they do by paying them lots of money to act a certain way, make fouls of our race as African people, make fools of our race as African people. 73. This action has an effect on our youth and their DNA. They want to get paid, so they repeat the acting of those put on TV or in cinemas, and in time the DNA is affected. 74. How our race is seen by others, how they are paid to act if they don't accept that role of a nigger. They will not get parts or get paid. It is well thought out by the devil's race. 75. So they made a Negro you see today into two groups. One, those who imitate whites, and two, those who he taught to act like niggas. 76. The real self is lost after this way. 1. Those who want to be Jewish, Hebrews, Israelites, them. 2. Those who want to be Christians or sects, them. 3. Those who want to be Muslims, Moorish, them. 4. Those who don't know what or how to act, them. This is what I mean, lost your very soul, your DNA, change your genes, altered to other than self as Africans. 77. They also has another system they use on our race. It's 1. A physical uniform. 2. A mental uniform or a position. And that removes the you to become a minion of and for them. 68. So after 400 years, you are to become a minion of and for them. 79. Our DNA harnesses both sound and light in its moment-to-movement operation. 80. Even more than that is linked to space and time. It magnetizes you to other dimensions. 81. By a personal vortex connecting between other places in space and time, in the omniverse, through which outformation can be transmitted outside of the space and time of this one universe. 82. You are, in actual fact, part of all. 83. The DNA attracts these bits of outformation and passes them on to your information and consciousness. 84. You are part of all, in all, as each being the all. 85. You as Negroids were grown to be a perfect being. 86. Only you were changed and altered by those who were made imperfect long after you. 87. Made you sick, ill, both physically and mentally. There is good, you, and there is evil, them, generating out of the center balancement of mood. It's as plain as black and white, eternal in blackness, darkness, and temporary white brightness. Blackness exists when light was ignited. Black is supreme balancement. So, Nuwaupians, know this actual fact. I'm here to show you how to reconnect what the slave masters cut you off from. You are divine, a divine soul, or etheric being, its vortex in the fabric or vacuum space, a multiple of nine vertices, and your consciousness, and must outlive the physical you or the body, being the etheric you or 9 ethers from your zero time before you ever grew your body, or your original home as mother, from where the maternal world and physical you was grown or born. You must return to your natural self. I don't mean you can't wear makeup or things like that. I mean actual alterations of your physical you, be it your body or your thinking, known that their overlords taught them how to affect your mind, body, and soul. And now look at you, out of your own mind and living in his mind, his belief, his pleasures, his foods, his sickness, his wars. And he knows he made a Negro minion to be used by himself against races and your own. Truth is truth. And that concludes the reading. Any rereads or questions? Yes.
I'm a bit new to this section, my first time here also. So
Welcome.
I wouldn't know, I might not know properly how to say certain, I might not know properly how to say what I'm going to ask, but I guess you'll get a general idea of what I'm saying. But the first question I was going to ask, can you, I guess with your knowledge or your head of mind, is there any times where, is there any situations that might have happened in the past where people might have been spoken to by certain higher beings or whatever to fulfill a particular type of destiny based on whatever positive attributes they have themselves? like let's just say, in a sense, if you're a person that is all loving and wants to help people, help them ascend consciously and stuff like that, is there any instances where something like that's really
today, in this day and time, right? We as people always being tapped into or stimulated by some type of awareness, right? In our regular course of life. But there is one in this day and time that we know of based on the information he present, that he was actually tapped in and he is connected to a higher force where he deliberately gives us information that's in sequence where we can tell by, analyzing, using sound right reasoning, right? That he is a person that's actually being communicated to on the other side.
When that situation occurs, does it sound like your own, does it sound like a normal thought that would happen in your head, or it sounds like that particular being would have its own vocal tone as it's speaking to you?
All right, when it comes to the master teacher, because that's what I'm referring to, right? You know Dr. Malachi Zior. Okay. For him, right? All of us have a higher being inside of us, right? However, it has to be activated. That's why if you read the reading, you have to be activated because we was untuned. We was cut off. You understand? So him as one that's in tune, when he had that experience, he have a book called Man from Planet Risk. And he talked about his experience when he first encountered with his higher self called Yan Nun. And that being, he heard his voice and he seen him too, because this being was able to materialize in front of him, right? That means coming from him, outside of him, so he can see him. You know what I'm saying? But he was an etheric being. That means an energy being. And this being is the being that's in him. Him and that being, what happened is, as an incarnation, you as a regular person can have a higher spirit in you and not know it. You know what I'm saying? So he went through several courses in his life where he was aware of who he was. And when he got that divine awareness, that person is the person that guides his pen. That's why he always say the information don't come from me. It comes through me. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a being inside of him, his higher self. And if you think about it on a regular level, we all say that we're all individuals. Just a regular term we use every day, right? Individual. When you look at that term, you're actually saying there's two of you in that body. Because the word individual, when you break it down, in, divided, dual. So inside that one body, there's two of you. One is physical and one is etheric. Most of the time, we only concerned with the physical person. So we never get in tune with our higher self. So Wu-Nuwaup is the culture that can help you by studying the information, because the information is all about studying yourself. You understand? Because one thing that the other races have done to us is they stripped us away. When you look at everybody, when it comes to spirituality, black people or African people are the only ones that don't have a spirituality that when you look at the source of that religion, it doesn't look like them. Take, for instance, most black people are Christians or Muslims. But if you say, who's the highest figure in that religion? Christians would say Jesus. But when you look at Jesus, Jesus looked just like the slave master. If a person is a Muslim, they're in that religion, and the highest figure in that religion is Muhammad. He's an Arab. If a person is a Hindu, the highest person in that religion or Hinduism is Krishna. He looks like a Hindu. Then you ask the Africans, what is your spirituality? They don't have one, because it was taken from them 400 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So Wu-Nuwaup is a re-emerging of our culture again, so we can tap back in and tune ourselves in. Because if you think about it, a car is a vehicle that people care about. When a person has a car, they care about their car enough to take it to a shop every so often to get a tune-up, right? To check the wheels, to make sure everything is okay. But when it comes to the human body, we don't tune the body up. You understand? And to tune the body up is to feed it etherically, or what people will call spiritual, outside. You understand? So we try to feed that side of us to awaken that inner being that's in us right now, to bring it to the forefront.
So I don't know if I'm asking too much questions.
Nah, you good.
So I've never had someone really answer it as properly as you have. But so it's not necessarily, is fate related in that if you have that experience? Because I'm just going to be straightforward. I had the same situation you're referring to where I met that version, and then I had the same thing where I heard the voice, which kind of just brought me along this whole path in the last couple of weeks. But I'm not fully educated, so in this knowledge. So I was wondering if it was also fate related, or it's just being in tune with the situation and flowing with it.
One thing with us, we very particular on words, right? And once again, when you say if it's fate related, right? Fate is the recognition of something that you don't really know. You don't know if it's confirmed yet. So we often utilize the word called F-A-T-E. It's fate. You know what I'm saying? Not fate, because you don't know. You know what I'm saying? So with that type of stuff happening, that's happening to you mainly because that we live in a day and time called the sun cycle, right? The sun cycle is a day and time when the forces of nature, there's certain gases that's emanating on the planet right now. We call them non-ether. The sun itself emanates certain type of gases at certain points in time. So you're talking about we have a cycle of existence in this universe, right? And we have a 24,000 year cycle. Well, when we're in what's called the moon cycle, right? The sun emanates 6 ether gases, right? Ever since 1970 to 2000, right? We're now in the sun cycle. So now the sun emanates 9 ether gases. When we talking about 9 ether gases, we talking about gases of awareness that will stimulate beings to wake up. But you'll find that many people don't wake up all at the same time. All of us become aware at different points in our life, based on books we may have read, based on people we have may encountered who say something that triggers something inside of us. So this is a day and time where our ancestors are actually tapping into us. Some of us get these buzzing sounds in our ear at times, right? And that's what we was taught, is that that's your ancestors trying to tune in to see if that reception is still open for them to contact you eventually. So this is it's not fate, it's a reality. You as a Nagaru are connected to the other side. You understand? And being that you're connected, your family on the other side, which is here. Because a lot of people think that, like us, for instance, we don't believe or deal with the concept of death. We know that people don't die. You know what I'm saying? You just go from one state of existence to another. And with that reality, that will tell you that when a person does translate, they only go into another dimension that's still right here. You know what I'm saying? So the question is, who is talking to me when I feel like something is talking to me? Someone that's right here. You know what I'm saying? That's here, but you can't see him because you're stuck in a 3-dimensional unreality. And I say unreality because there's more than just 3 dimensions. You know what I'm saying? And beings who function on a spiritual level or etheric level, they're functioning on another dimension. But all the dimensions are right here. That's why we got a concept called now. We know that time in the future, right, is happening. Time in the past is still happening. So all that past and present and future is all linked to a concept that we call now. And with that being said, that will put you as a being that can go beyond space and time. That means that at any moment in time, you can travel back in your mind. Because one thing for sure, the one thing that you know is real, if you should translate one day, is your mind. Because think about it. What would be the purpose of telling someone you're going to go to hell if you die? If that's not a confirmation that you still have a mentality. You understand? But you just don't have the physical body. You understand? So what we're saying is that there is what people call life after death. And if you think about it, when they taught us, people say, do you believe in life after death? What most people say, who's religious? Yes, right? But when you say yes, what are you alluding to? You're alluding to the fact that this is death and life begins when you translate. So life actually begins on the next level, because from the moment that you're born, you're dying. You're not getting closer. You're getting closer to death. You're not getting younger. You understand? And that death for us, you're getting closer to translation. So what better for you to be in the physical and get spiritually educated? And when you get spiritually educated, then when you make the transition, you'll be better prepared to deal with the next side, because you know. So the master teacher for us as that teacher, that master teacher that come to spiritually educate us about the next world, because that's the one thing that's inevitable for everyone here. We have to go back to black, back home. You know what I'm saying? Because from nothing comes everything here. Everything on the physical plane is generated by the spiritual plane or the etheric plane. And that's the plane you go to when you translate. Yeah, sorry. Yes, sis.
I got two questions. Could you, you kind of went fast. Could you talk about the buzzing in your ear? It feels okay, like, you know, like if you take a socket and stick it in, you're getting a,
Yeah.
but it's like, and it's like you think you're sleeping, but you're not sleeping. It's like you're in a trance where you know that's happening to you. You're up, but you're not really up, but you can feel. But it's not hurting you. It's just like you're getting electrocuted by something, but it's in your ear. I wanted you to kind of, if you knew anything about that, like if you were just saying they tapping in, and then if you can do the read, it was talking about my aunt being. Yeah. So and then when you were talking about Tawhat, you were talking about my aunt. And then matriarch, like you were breaking down the different levels of that. So that's two questions.
Okay. As far as the buzzard in the ears, all I have on that is what the master teacher said. I was reading the debate series book, and someone was talking about us being connected to the next side. And because we was in a religious school, like Islam at that time, he was saying like, let's say they was talking about the Ark of the Covenant in religious world. So the Ark of the Covenant is a device that's used in the religious world where they make this thing for them to communicate to the gods, right? Now, in order to communicate to the gods, that would say that the Ark of the Covenant was some type of radio that had signals in it. And it also gave a holographic projection. So now, the Master Teacher said that will be destroyed by the year 1990-something by the Jebusites, the Jews. And then it was like, okay, so how we going to connect? And Bob was like, you ain't got to worry about that because the device for connecting is your body. You know what I'm saying? He said, that's the body. You're as a Nagaru, it's your body. And he says, if you notice, some of you start hearing this buzzing in your sound. That's the etheric beings, the Netzeru, trying to tap back in. You know what I'm saying?
That happens very frequently. So is that tapping into the feminine? Because, you know, when it says matriarch, you know, you had matriarchal mothers or women in Africa pretty much that, you know, like kept the order, you know, of certain things going on, and the men were, the masculine were the protectors and the ones who built shelters and stuff like that. So, like, that's kind of tying into that, like the feminine, like, you know, how we're in the time now, you know, feminine rising and stuff like that.
Tour. It's definitely tying into that. And the thing is this, everyone exists with two forms of energy in their body. It could be, we could call it centripetal, centrifugal, masculine, feminine, right? So everyone has both those principles in their body. But if you think about it on a higher level, scientists would call the negative force of nature cathode, right? And then they call the masculine force of nature anode. But if you look at the negative force of nature, cathode, the prefix cat, thode, cat. So in Nuwaupic, or as a Nuwaupian, we would say feminine, because the feminine, or the cat, or the feline, right? Feline orders, right? The feminine nature is what generates everything on the physical plane. And I spoke about this last time. When you have a battery, there's two charges on the battery. One is positive, one is negative. In order for that battery to be complete, it needs both charges. So no one in here is fully masculine force. No one is fully masculine force, right? Everyone has to have both of the energies to be functional. However, us as Nuwaupian, we acknowledge the matriarchal force because we know that if you check electricity, you'll notice that without the negative force, the battery won't work completely, because the negative force is the generating force. And if you listen to the word generating, you can hear gender, generations. So the generations on the physical plane goes through the women. That means that in religion, they teach you if you have a son, your lineage don't go on. But we know that it's the mother that carries the gene of the family because of mitochondrial DNA.
To the daughter, right?
To the daughters.
The mother can't give it to the son, it has to go to the daughter.
In actuality, everyone, both men and women, have mitochondrial DNA, and they all get it from their mother. And if you go and check, and they get it from their mother, but the women are the only ones that can pass it on to the children. And then it's only the daughters. So the son doesn't pass his mitochondrial DNA on to his children. His wife does. His wife passes it to the son and the boy, and if he have a daughter, his daughter passes it on. So really, how the people teach today, without a son, your genes don't live on, it's really the opposite. Without a daughter, your genes don't live on, because the gene is in the woman. You know what I'm saying? Not that you don't get nuclear DNA from your father too, but if you're talking about an undiluted gene, that's only the woman, only the feline gene, it comes through the women. And you can look that up, mitochondrial DNA.
Yeah, because I read that the men, I read it in Sacred Feminine, the notice that the men have it too, but it's just that a woman's egg comes pre-coated with a certain matter, a certain amount of that mitochondria, and they don't take, it doesn't take on the men, it takes on the women. I think I read that. Mm-hmm. So you guys do have it too, but you just can't pass it on.
We don't pass it on, that's right.
I have one more question, I'm sorry. Let me just get one more question. Okay, so my last question is this. I wanted to ask you, do you know anything that the master teacher may have spoke about with, like, seeing white orbs of light by the side of your face? I was listening to a True Light tape, and what I did hear him say was that you can be seeing or picking up the vibration of beings that are sent here to clean up the earth, because there's so much negative frequencies going on. But I just wanted to know, like, maybe if you knew more about it or update about it, because it's like a white orb,
a white mist.
He said, and it comes at different times of the day. Like I could be washing dishes, I could be doing whatever, and it will just take over, and I'll just see this thing, and I'm like, okay, I'm losing. Originally, it goes back to the pyramids. Like many people think they know the science of the pyramids, but they really don't. The pyramids is put on the planet to change the energy from negative to positive, because the energy on this planet is negative, and you can see it in this world today. There's a lot of negative energy that rules this planet. Look at the justice system. Look at how everything, we live in a day and time where if you come and go against what's being generally taught, which is wrong, they're going to look at you like a bad person. So now, being that they stole our pyramids and they charge us to go look at our own stuff now, right? Now what happened is, whenever the Most High, the devil makes a plan, but the Most High is the best of planners. So our family members on the other side are still here in energy form. And those who have a spiritual eye, they can see them as white mists. And they see them trying to alter the frequency of the planet. How they alter it is trying to give us thoughts to do the right thing. Because really, the planet and us, we're supposed to be in tune with the planet. Because the planet is alive. And we're alive. And the mere fact that we could live inside of it should mean that we should be giving the planet some form of reverence, because it's taking care of us. You understand? It's no different from a baby being in the womb of his mother. Well, we're in the womb of the planet. So they have to send beings who come in light form or energy form that certain people can see and try to alter people, try to give you thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Change the frequency of humans, because we always thinking negative. Some people say it's easier to think bad than positive. Why do people say that? It should be the opposite. You know what I'm saying? So I get it, because normally, like, when I would see that, it would be like, I'm normally like a happy person, but like if something bothers me or whatever, and I'm starting to like shift, like that's normally, now that you said that, that's normally when I start seeing it. I'm like, I just always wondered, what is it, like, what is that I'm seeing? So you said that's to change the frequency from negative to be positive. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's all I have. I'm sorry.
I want to ask you a question. Speaking about, young ladies talking about the noise you hear the ringing, buzzing. Well, what happens when you reading? I was reading early on. I was reading one of the actual facts, and I got this shock. It didn't hurt, but it jilted me, and I didn't know where it was coming from. I'm looking around, thinking somebody shot me or something, because it did it so heavy, and I'm just give us speak about someone getting shot. Where is what's coming from?
I'm sorry. I never really heard the master teacher talk about that.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
We're speaking about we are part of the earth. As for a woman, we have women as when the earth starts to change or switch a female feel when the earth is like leaning, and I thought it was me, but I asked another sister, I was walking with a sister a couple of days ago, and I said to her, I said, something is going on with the earth, like my crazy, because I was walking and I was like this, and she said, we both crazy, because I felt the same thing. So I'm saying, when the earth shifts to a certain degree, do the female feel it? What's going on? Because we both felt the same thing. When I thought it was me, but when I thought it, she was afraid to tell me what was going on. But after so many times this happened, I said, let me ask her, am I crazy? Why am I walking like I'm doing inside?
Well, from what the master teacher taught, if the planet does shift, right, we do feel it and we do go along with it. For instance, remember the planet is on a 23.5 axis right now, right? And before it wasn't like that. That means the planet is on a tilt. But because the planet is on a tilt, most people are right or left-handed today. Which one? Most people. No. She's bred that. You're bred that way. Baba said people that's like left-handed are bred that way, right? But most people on the planet right now is right-handed, right? And that's only because the planet is tilted. And when it wasn't tilted, Baba said most people was ambidextrous, or we was able to write with both hands. If you could do both, you blessed. Because even if you take the Egyptian hieroglyphics, when you look at the Egyptian hieroglyphics, it could have been written up, down, sideways, back, front, you know. I don't know about that. Sorry. One sec. Brother had a question. Yes.
Wu-Sabat.
Wu-Sabat, come
I was going to ask you this question a couple of weeks ago, but now it seems perfect. Could you elaborate and explain the part that we're trapped here and the part that I don't totally get, or I just need to hear it explained again, is about the phrase people, places, and things. Can you explain that?
Okay. All right. When the master talks about us being trapped here, for one, we are physical beings, right? And we have three forms: solid, liquid, and gas, right? That's how they taught us. But that means that we started from solid to liquid. That means they're telling you started from solid. They're telling you you started from solid, liquid, and gas, which is the trick, because it's really supposed to be backwards, right? It's supposed to be gas, liquid, then solid. But they taught you that way to trap you in the physical realm. So just the concept that they teach us keeps us locked on the planet Earth. You as a Nagaru, or a black person, African person, if you was trained and tuned in the right way, you'll be able to change your vibration at will. And that's why the master would teach stuff like you could turn your body into a ship. Why would he tell you could turn your body into a ship? Because he's telling you, you don't have to die to experience the etheric world or the spiritual world. So the mere fact that you're physical and you can't willfully connect, you can't willfully go to the next plane, you're trapped here. You understand? So the next question you were saying?
Can you elaborate on, so how do we get out of three places?
Oh, okay. Person, places, things. It's all based on a word. Because once again, Baba say the spell is on words, right? So being that we're trapped in person, place, or things, this is the concept. If you were to be able to go to the spiritual plane right now and then come back and explain what's over there, the moment you try to explain what's over there, you're going to have a problem. Because what's over there can't truly be explained on the physical plane. Because what you're going to do is you're going to use things in the physical plane to interpret what you saw over there. You understand? So when Baba said we're locked in person, place, or things, he's saying that the average human cannot think outside of person, place, or things, because anything they think of is confined within this bubble, this vacuum that they was taught with information. When you get to the point where you can think outside of that, you're no longer confined to this no more. And you'll notice this. When you get to a certain level of information, especially on that level, you cease to talk. Because you can't really explain it to people on the physical plane. That's why I say the spiritual path is what? A lonely path. Because only people who have the same experience as you can relate to you. Like, for instance, Baba said he's an incarnation. A lot of people say he's crazy. Why would they say that? Because they never had that experience. He say, I saw a spaceship. People say, you're crazy. Why would they say that? Because they never had that experience. If you had that experience, other people who had that experience can relate to you. Now, when you get to the point of things outside of this confinement, there's nothing to relate to it. There's no relations. When you go beyond art and naught, nothing could be compared no more. Because things on that side doesn't relate to things on this side. It's different. You know what I'm saying? Even though this world is the physical counterpart. That's why he explained a square on the physical plane is totally different from a square on the etheric plane. You know what I'm saying? It may not even look like a square, but it will be a square. It will be the counterpart for this side. But to explain it, you can't. And Baba had a class, I forgot the name of the class, and a brother was asking him questions like that, and he said, there is no word for it. He said, there is no word for things on that side. Because the moment you say it, it becomes a word, and then the word becomes flesh. That means you're confining it back to the physical plane again.
Okay, so the teachings in AEO, which we can't discuss, I guess that's an exercise.
The AEO exercises, those were all things to help us to get to the next level, because there's so many things you have to do to get to the next level. Like something as simple as meditation. The average person don't really meditate if they don't know how to concentrate. Because if you can't concentrate, you really can't meditate. If you can't focus, laser focus on one particular thing, how you going to meditate? You know what I'm saying? So most people think they're doing something when they're really not. You know what I'm saying? And some can. But it's a science, it's a practice.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to ask one more question. You mentioned something about the meditation. Since we were on that topic for a moment, what's the general amount of time that someone should meditate daily? If you know.
With the master teacher, it shouldn't be no more than 5 minutes. It shouldn't be long.
Okay.
It shouldn't be long.
So 5 minutes is just every day, and that's generally it. Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Oh.
Like I was going to say, when the brother was talking about the entrapped person is the things, right? And he was saying when you, like, if you have an experience where you go to that other side and come out, you're not able to really speak it because it'll materialize into flesh, whatever the case may be. Is that one of the reasons why he's trying to break us out of that person place of things with the language? Because like what you said is true. Like you'll say, I'm riding on the bus to go home, but you're not riding on the bus because you're not on top of the bus, like the English language being dead. You would say like, I'm inside the bus. And you still can't even figure out the words to say what you're really, you know, how you're in the bus going home. So I just wanted to say, is that, well, I'm asking, is that what he meant by to learn Wu-Nuwaup? Because when you vibrate on a certain tone of frequency, you'll be able to tap into the Natharu and your ancestors where you'll be able to, if not describe something verbally in English, but you'll be able to open your mind to understand like certain experiences that you're going through. Because if you look at Wu-Nuwaup, there are certain English words we don't have a word for because it just doesn't comply. Like, I mean, am I on the
No,
right?
you're right. Because if you look at how we're taught in English, we're taught so many things that keep you confined. Like, for instance, you ask a person, what's the smallest unit of time? They're going to tell you, if they're smart, they're going to say a millisecond, if they think they're smart. And you say, but what happened to 1? They're telling you the smallest unit of time is 2. How could that person go home with that type of thinking? You see what I'm saying? So they think on a low level because this society teach you to think on a low level. And you got to say, why would they teach you the smallest unit of time is a second? Because the second people taught that doctrine. You know what I'm saying? And if we the first, our smallest unit of time would have to be a first, not a second. So then we would have to try to take our mind outside of that concept that they taught us. Because that concept keeps us confined to their time. And that's why a lot of people have a problem with us. Because what we teach is prehistory. See, when we teach prehistory and a person have books They become the authors. They become the authors to make things authentic, so that they become the authority. And when they could do that, they can make books that they wrote in the last 6,000 years. And these books are made to confirm their lies. So they'll say, well, where did you get that from? Well, what's your reference? The reality is, if you predate someone, there's nothing they could write that we have to reference. Because if you're writing about my culture, why should I reference you? I'm older than you. You should be referencing me for your existence. You understand? But what happened is, they got a lot of our people in the mindset of, give me a reference. What you said about your culture. Go ask the doggone tribe how they knew it was 9 planets without telescopes. Go ask them what's the reference. And they're going to tell you, our ancestors from the stars came here and told us. And they had 9 planets before they had a telescope. They don't need a reference. They are the reference. And if you look at it, you can literally say, I am he or she who Ray referred. So you got to get your reference from me. You understand? We don't need to reference no Makasu. You understand? Yes.
Yes. My question is in, it's called Cause and Effect, the second one.
Sure.
It's in verses 48 to 58, I think.
Oh, you want me to read it? Okay. Verse 48. You must have your very own language, such as we, as Nuwaupians of Wu-Nuwaup, have Nuwaupic. No one can claim it theirs. It's only our own. No one has a reason to speak it, if not Nuwaupian as us. So the Caucasoids, who invaded all other tongues, has no reason to speak Nuwaupic. It's unique. That was 48 and 49. Go. 50. Each sentence, word, may sound to some like Hebrew or Arabic. That is because they come from Nuwaupic, or a form of ancient Nuwaupic called Sebeg. Yet our system is our own, not the exact same, yet in tune with our own ancestors. Learn to speak Nuwaupic and realign your tune. When you say I love you and truly mean it, emotionally, your DNA will always react to those words, and if said in your own unique language, will have a unique meaning and emotion. It's a language modulation being used, laser ray, and Nuwaupians even radio waves. If the exact frequencies are being used, you must return to your own. So back to the language again. The language is a part of raising your frequency, because when you speak English, that's a frequency. That's a frequency of the Caucasian. That's not even a language. You say, because if a person in England will consider what you speak not English. That's called American. You understand? You speak American. That's what most of us speak here. You understand? And being that was a language taken, you got to say, what's the psychology behind stripping the people of their language? It was deeper than what people think. You take their language, you take those natural tones that link them to their ancestors. Why do you think they got concepts in the scriptures like they tore down a wall of Jericho with the voice? With a voice. So it was voice box tonations that can make things happen. We see it today. A person could sing opera and break glasses. Just imagine, if you know how to speak your own language, what type of doors or vortexes you could be opening up. You understand? So this culture in America works for the Caucasians, because this is a culture that they fathered. You know what I'm saying? They don't even, they didn't mother it. They always say this, the forefathers, no mother. You know what I'm saying? Our culture go back to our mothers. You know what I'm saying? And with that, if there's no more questions, we're going to end class. Thanks for coming out. Okay, so get home safe. Thanks for coming out. Wadu.